Hey team, it's John, JRB Tree Climbing and Saddle Hunting. Here we are in Season 2. I made 2 videos already earlier on the playlist this year. First, introducing the system for Season 2 with an option to automatically tend our lower friction hitches. And the second video showed you rigging this brand new system. This is a Mammut 8mm dynamic climbing line rigged with 5.9mm Sterling power cord, not paracord, power cord. I'm going to show you some details about how the system is put together and show you how to connect that neck strap. Just detail I couldn't give you in the last 2 videos. So the first point is that in this vantage point, I have already taken the liberty of taking the rope and using my standard convention of putting it up and over the tree crotch by going up the right side and down the left. And so this rope here has gone up over my theoretical tree crotch and back down the other side. This side remains on the ground, and I take advantage of that by installing a PVC coupler. This is for 1-inch PVC, and I've drilled a 1/2 inch hole through it, and it serves as a braking mechanism. If you ever get your hitches jammed up, you can always get a hand on this and break them. And with both ropes pressed close together, you can break both of your hitches. I rarely need that, but it is really handy and a lot less finger strength to break your lines. I tied these with 44 inches of power cord, and you'll notice that I've got these sloppy long tails here. Didn't need 44 inches, but I prefer to leave my tails kind of long in the event that I ever need to tune the size of these. For example, let's say I was trying out a new saddle and the bridge was significantly shorter and I wanted the height of these loops to stay in the same position. I can let a little bit more slack in by just changing this length by adjusting my hunter's bend. So those are the top loops, and again, your main bridge engages in this fashion. The loops, the friction hitches, work on the inside of the 2 ropes, and my hands go right there when I'm using the double shove method, where I grip the bottoms of these, and when I step up, I push them up. And so let's go ahead and leave those out of view and bring into the field of view my lower friction hitches. Okay, so the big question is, how do we tie our neck strap to the friction hitches? And there are a couple ways to do it, and I've done quite a lot of experimentation, and I want to thank the gentlemen in my Facebook group for their assistance as well. The simplest way to try this is to, here on the left, if you just take a beaner, this beaner, let's say, is on the end of your neck strap. If you put it around both the rope and the loop in the friction hitch, that will tend the hitch. And that's how I did it for a while. However, when testing with in a situation where my meach loops were extremely jammed, so they're really tight and hard to move, I noticed that what can happen is that this can happen. I'm simulating it, but you can get the beaner into this position. Now it still will tend the loop, but it's a lot of strain on your neck. It's more friction if this is jammed up. And so I've shied away from that and challenged myself and my friends to come up with a way that we can weave into the Michoacan a small tending loop. And that's what I have here on the right side. I have a loop, and this is my neck strap, and my neck strap simply clips in, and the loop is woven into the Michoacan so that it can't ever go anywhere. It's just a fantastic way to tend that, and I'm going to show you how to tie that. While I have my neck strap in my hands, my neck strap is simply a piece of 1-inch polyester webbing. It's 48 inches. Could have gone a little longer. And it has on the end 2 small brass boat clips. You can use whatever clips you prefer. And I've terminated it using just an overhand end loop. Pretty simple. And so I'll put that on when we've got them both tied. So let's show you how we tie this. So I'm going to zoom in tight here, and we'll take a look at this one. I've got an 18-inch length of 4mm cord here. Now you could use paracord for this or any other cordage that you prefer. I'm going to use this white stuff that I have because it'll show up better on the black hitch cord for better visibility. So it's pretty simple, but the steps need to be precisely executed. I start by locating the diagonal bar that goes from top to bottom, and I drop my cord through that. I continue on that same direction and go around the back of the rope. See that? Okay, and then the only really tricky part is here. When this comes back up, I locate the second bar on the back of the Michoacan. Pull a little slack in it, pardon my reach. Trying to stay out of your field of view and still do my task. And there we go. Got that up in there. And now we have a really efficient way of tending this Michoacan. Let's do that again. I'll pan over. Let's untie and retie this one. They're just a mirror image of one another, the opposite chirality, but I want to give you a second look at it. Everything's the same, just a mirror image. So I start by locating the diagonal bar from top to bottom, drop this cord inside of it, continue through the loop and around the rope, and then locate the second bar on the back side of the meach. I realize it's a little hard to follow given the zoom level and my hands in the way, but I think you can see that. Okay, and then we're going to zoom out. You can just watch me close these with a hunter's bend. So you're familiar how to tie the hunter's bend, I would hope. We've got a separate video under my not tying playlist on how to tie the hunter's bend. And sure, if you wanted a different bend for this, that's fine. This is not going to take much tension. But I'm just trying to keep my system with the smallest variety of useful knots as possible. And so now I've got the system fully rigged and ready for loading. And so I won't step in front of the camera, but if my bridge loops on my saddle each have a beaner and each one is attached to the right and to the left, and I'm sitting there and you're basically looking at my bird's eye view, I then, once I'm sitting in the system, I take my neck strap, put it on each side of the loop, and when I stand, so my weight's here when I'm sitting, but when I stand onto my foot loop and my weight comes off of my saddle and my body begins to rise, starting with my head at the top, up goes my head and up go these hitches. So that's the tending mechanism, neck strap, and how to tie those. Okay, so again, thank you very much for your comments and suggestions, and I look forward to the journey to come. And speaking of that, I will point out one more detail. It's not a coincidence that when I bring these loops together at the same height, I can load both of these. That little trick there is going to come in handy if we ever wanted to use this system for SRT and we could distribute our weight onto 2 friction hitches. Thank you.